Now open Mary, Our Lady of Peace Mausoleum in Flushing, New York. Secure your family's future with 10% down, no taxes, and 0% interest financing for up to 10 years on pre-need crypts and cremation niches starting at just $25 per month. Protect your loved ones with the gift of pre-planning. Visit them today at Mount St. Mary Cemetery. Call 718-353-1560. That's 718-353-1560 or go to ccbklyn.org to learn more. That's ccbklyn.org.
This is Sid and Friends in the Morning.
From my friends.
77 WABC.
He sets the 2-2 pitch. Swinging a bouncing ball, slowly hit to short. Waiting on it, Lindor. He's got it. Throws to first. Put it in the box. Diaz slams the glove down. He is pounced on by Alvarez. And the New York Mets are headed to postseason play in what has been a memorable season. There were 11 games under 500 in late May. They have stormed all the way back, and metaphorically they did so today. Trailing 3-0 going to the eighth. They scored 6 runs to take the lead. Diaz gave the lead back. The Mets gave it back to him, and this time Diaz held onto it, and the Mets hugging each other behind the pitcher's mound celebrate as they will go to the postseason as a wild card. They will go to Milwaukee. Carlos Mendoza, the first-year manager, raises his arms, claps his hands, now walks out towards the players. First he hugs Alvarez, now he's hugging them one by one. The Mets have won the ball game as they hold on to win 8-7. And young Keith, you have just seen one of the most memorable games in the 63 years that the New York Mets have played baseball.
Hold on, I'll be back for you, it won't be long. Up till now there's something else that's calling me. So take me down a lonesome road, pour me east and let me go. That suitcase weighs me down with memories. I just want to be the one you run to. I just want to
Howie Rose, the great Howie Rose, put it in the books. The Mets are playoff bound. And Frank Morano's a Met fan. Curtis is coming up next. He's a Yankee fan. So. But I came in early this morning and I did see Frank proudly wearing his New York Met jersey. He gets great ratings as the host of The Other Side of Midnight, 1 to 5 a.m. every weekday morning. And he's just a terrific guy. My friend Frank Morano. Frank, happy Tuesday morning, and how about those New York Mets?
My goodness. I mean, as Howie Rose said there, yesterday's game was sort of a microcosm of the entire season. You go from being confident to just having your heart broken and think, how could I have been so stupid to actually think they had a chance, to then just being shocked that they're able to pull it off. An incredible game, a great day to be a Met fan, and again, it would have been nice to have won both games yesterday.
No. You don't want to do that, because if you win both games, you got to take on the Padres. No, Arizona's out. As long as the Mets won one, Arizona was out. So you don't want the Padres. In fact, after they won the first game, I was on the set at Gravesend going, that's it. Take out all your starters. You'd much rather play Milwaukee than San Diego, which is what they got. So you got 4 playoff games coming up today, and the third of those 4 playoff games at about 5:30 this afternoon, you get the Mets and Brewers, and trust me, you wanted that instead of the Mets and Padres.
Well, no doubt about it. Well, one, on an emotional level, given what we've seen with the Mets and Braves, especially over the last 25 years, it would have been nice to see the Braves vanquished. I'm also, given what happened with the Brewers a few days ago, I'm not necessarily terribly optimistic about their chances against the Brewers. But we'll see. I'm happy just to be in the playoffs.
No, they got beat up pretty good by Milwaukee just this weekend. Now they got the big win on Sunday, the 5-0 win, but But you're right. They're only a couple of days removed from getting their asses kicked in Milwaukee by those same Brewers.
Right, in a series that, as you pointed out, the Brewers had absolutely nothing to play for.
Right, so that's scary.
We'll see. Hey, fingers crossed. As Tug McGraw said, you got to believe.
You got to believe. All right, you got to believe. I wonder if Eric Adams right now has adopted that. So you were on last week after the indictment. Everybody was talking about this. And you came on basically to say that you thought the governor, Kathy Hochul, was 1,000% going to remove Mayor Eric Adams. A week later, do you still feel that way?
I do not feel it with the same certainty. I do think it's more likely than not. I thought her comments yesterday were very interesting. Basically, she said publicly that she's communicated to the mayor what her expectations are, and she wouldn't say to the public what those are. Later that day, Tim Pearson, who's the mayor's best friend and closest advisor, was let go. So there's speculation that first of all, the whole power dynamic in their relationship has changed. Now, Eric Adams exists solely to do whatever Kathy Hochul says. And Hochul, given the fact that Jumaane Williams has run against her twice now, is not that eager to put Jumaane Williams in power. And the other thing that happened over the weekend is Al Sharpton came out and basically publicly called Hochul out and preemptively warned her, hey, you better not remove Eric Adams without a conviction. Those aren't his words, but that's basically what he said publicly. So I think it's still more likely than not that she's going to remove him. I don't feel the same certainty that I did a week ago when we talked about it, but I still think there's going to be a lot of pressure to remove her from a lot of quarters nationally within the Democratic Party, and I don't see her ultimately, I don't see her standing up to all these folks that are going to want Adams to be removed. I mean, every day there's a different scandal. I mean, today it's Tim Pearson. 2 days ago it was the deputy mayor who's under investigation and his schools chancellor, David Banks, getting married, presumably so they don't have to testify against one another in court.
That's right.
I mean, every day is something different. Yesterday came out that the Brooklyn Borough President, Antonio Reynoso, was offered the same free trips to Turkey, and he turned them down. Even he understood that you're not supposed to get these things. And then Turkey said, oh, you don't want the free trip? We'll send you some free gifts. He sent them back. So, I mean, it is looking. And then the mayor's lawyers in court yesterday saying that under the bribery redefinition by the Supreme Court, what the mayor did isn't bribery, it's a gratuity. Now, and politicians get that all the time. Now, that's an odd defense. He's not saying the mayor didn't do it. He's saying, oh, no, you're allowed to do it. It's just a gratuity. Like he's serving a cup of coffee at a coffee shop.
Well, the good news is Trump said we're not going to tax that gratuity. So,
yeah, exactly.
Good news for you.
Rooting hard for Trump now.
Of course he is. And Curtis talks about that all the time. Maybe a pardon down the road, if in fact it gets that far. We don't know. But I do want to get to Andrew Cuomo because you sent me a story yesterday. One I'm very aware of, very familiar with, and I've had conversations, as you know now, for a while with Andrew Cuomo. A lunch, a dinner, just the two of us. I've known for the better part of 7 months he was going to run. All of his friends are telling me, no, he's only going to run if Adams resigns. I'm like, no, he's running no matter what. And he is going to run no matter what. But the story you sent me yesterday said that the Jewish people have turned their backs on Eric Adams, as they should. He was a disaster for the Jews. I'm sorry. He can have all the Jews he wants during Heritage Week at Gracie Mansion, and all of them show up. He was a disaster. That the Jews now are looking to vote for Andrew Cuomo. That was the article you sent me yesterday.
Yeah, there's an exclusive in the New York Post by Carl Campanile in which he quotes, and I believe these quotes, a bunch of anonymous Jewish or unnamed Jewish leaders in New York City that say they're all ready to rally around Andrew Cuomo. And given the kind of the anti-Israel mood of the progressives that are running, Jessica Ramos and everybody else, I have no problem believing that. But But the other story that I found interesting was the story that actually had some on-the-record quotes, including from the state Democratic Party chair, Jay Jacobs, in which he's saying that there's a good possibility that Letitia James may run for mayor, and that he'd like Letitia James to run for mayor. Clearly, Kathy Hochul, as much as she doesn't want Jumaane Williams in there, she doesn't want her old rival or new rival, Andrew Cuomo, being mayor of New York City. So there are now reports that Hochul has reached out to Tish James to ask her to run if there's a special.
Wow.
Jay Jacobs is on the record saying that Tish James would be a great mayor, and there's a whole bunch of unnamed Democratic Party insiders saying that the big difference between Tish James and Andrew Cuomo is that people actually like Tish James as opposed to Andrew Cuomo within Democratic circles. Now, the other thing is, like, as you know, Sid, better than I do because you hang out with these people, there's this whole group of power elites in New York City that really run things, real estate, finance, the people.
And you're right by preface it by saying these are all my friends. You're right about that.
I know that. And they're terrified at the fact that you may end up with somebody like a Jumaane Williams as mayor, who's basically Che Guevara as mayor 2.0. Oh, now, if Andrew Cuomo is not going to be able to withstand all of his scandals, whether it's the nursing homes, whether it's the sexual harassment, whether it's the fact that he's just as a white guy in an era where that's not fashionable
bail
anymore.
Reform too. Don't forget bail reform.
They are going to view Tish James as someone that is going to be slightly more moderate, at least on economic issues, than Jumaane Williams. She will at least do what these power brokers at Rebney and RSA say, and I think there's a good chance that she may end up running in a special election.
New Life Center NYC is a leading integrative med spa on beautiful Madison Avenue in the heart of New York City. New Life Center has been championing ageless living for over 25 years. Their expert team will design a personalized health and wellness program just for you, using cutting-edge technologies and specialized supplements. Experience the future of medicine at New Life Center. Call 917-723-8933 now to book your appointment. That's 917-723-8933. Call now to discover ageless living at New Life Center NYC.
Haz lo que te gusta en Knoxville, o como le dicen, Knox diversión para toda la familia, incluido tu perrito Bill. O Knox rema en el río y luego disfruta una deliciosa cena Bill. Planifica tu viaje a una ciudad llena de arte, aventura y naturaleza en visitknoxville.com.
One more for you. Tonight is the vice presidential debate. I asked Laura Trump yesterday if she was even interested. Of course, I knew she was going to say yes, obviously. Her father-in-law, that's his running mate. But I wanted to really gauge her enthusiasm. And I thought she gave a really good answer. I don't care all that much. I'm not. If I watch it, great. If I fall asleep and don't watch it, I don't care. I know we're doing a big show here at WABC because people do care. But for Sid Rosenberg, I'd be lying to you if I said I care all that much. In fact, I'd rather watch, I think, the Padres and the Braves. Frank Morano, want to gauge your interest in tonight's VP debate.
Well, I'm interested in watching it because I'm interested in seeing Vance and Walz and how they interact with one another. But I think what you're getting at is it going to affect the election at all? And the answer is absolutely not.
Zero.
If you look at the 40-year history of these vice presidential debates, because they've only been doing them since '84, not one of them, not Lloyd Benson with his great line against Dan Quayle, not James Stockdale saying, who am I, where am I here, why am I here, not Biden and Palin, not Biden and Ryan, not one of these vice presidential debates has moved the needle one iota in this election. So it might be compelling television for a little while. I'm glad CBS News is not going to do the same thing that the ABC News folks did and fact check these people in real time, but it's not going to make any difference.
No.
Nobody cares.
Nope.
People always vote for the top of the ticket, but it's doubly so in an election where there's Trump running.
Jimmy Carter today becomes, and Bill O'Reilly's coming on at 8:40, he'll know that today becomes the only president ever to live a full century. Happy birthday, Jimmy. How about that, Frank?
Well, look, Jimmy Carter, as everybody always says, has been one of the better ex-presidents, I think, over time. And Bill O'Reilly has an interesting story about, I think Carter was
you mean since he left the presidency?
Yeah.
Right, he's done some great things, humane stuff. Right.
Yeah.
As a president, he was as bad as it gets.
No doubt about it. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find anybody that says he was even a decent president. But I also think you'd be hard-pressed to find anybody that says he's anything but a decent man. And you got to give the devil his due, at least in terms of the Camp David Accords, for the only Democratic president in the last 100 years that has ever lost the Jewish vote. That is a pretty impressive accomplishment to take the one army that was legitimately a threat to Israel, Egypt, and have them be at peace. And that didn't come about easy. And he has the kind of humility and the kind of graciousness that you don't see in politics often these days.
Well, you have that too, don't you?
If you compare me to the rest of our colleagues at WABC,
right.
yes,
me.
But not according to the rest of the world.
Well, you're great. Your show is great. It really is great. You're great every time you come on with me. And I enjoyed this segment very, very much. Let's go, Mets. Great job, Frank Morano. Thank you so much.
Amen. Thank you for having me, Sid. Take care.
Excellent job. There he is, folks, the host of The Other Side of Midnight. Big ratings. Does a terrific job, 1 to 5 a.m. every weekday morning before Noam. Or in today's case, Lizzie with the news.
Janine Pirro here for Colonial Metals Group. Colonial Metals Group helps Americans protect their future with the most trusted store of wealth in human history, physical gold and silver. If you're retiring or retired, go to colonialmetalsgroup.com/Pirro for your free Janine Pirro Colonial Metals Group Retirement Protection Kit, or call 800-965-8004. 800-965-8004 now to receive a free home safe and up to $7,500 in free silver.